Yo, yo, yo. Chef Gordo, man, teaching y'all how to make sweet chili lamb chops, homemade garlic butter mashed potatoes, and asparagus. You see, what I did with my lamb chops, I seasoned them the night before just so they could marinate. I used garlic powder, black pepper, Old Bay seasoning salt, a little chipotle powder with the olive oil. I mixed them around and let them sit overnight so they could look like that the next day. All right, that's the first step. You technically don't have to, but what I do is I took my lamb chops and I put them on the griddle. I turned the griddle on to 400 degrees and I let them cook on both sides for about 2 minutes. First thing I did before I put the lamb chops down, I used some more oil and I spreaded it out all across the griddle. Lay the lamb chops down and I cooked them on both sides for about 2.5 minutes on both sides, just so they could brown. Not to cook them fully through, just so they can get that brown and like that stovetop feeling before I put them in the oven. So once they get a little brown on both sides, you flip them, check to make sure, and from there you just transfer them over. I transferred them over from the griddle into a baking pan. Added a little oil onto the foil just so they don't stick. From there, you see how they look? Scrumptious, not even finished yet. Damn, them things looking heavy. But now it's time for the sauce, you feel me? And I ain't want to be difficult, so I use the bottle sauce, so it's going to be easy. So you preheat the oven to 300 degrees. You make sure the sauce even on both sides. Throw them in the oven for about 15 minutes. While they cooking, now it's time to work on the mash. Next, the mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes is my favorite side dish. I can eat it every day. So I boiled my red Idaho potatoes. I then left the skin on them. I didn't peel them. I like it better with the skin. I mash them up. You're going to mash them up, not too much because you still had to add other ingredients. So from there, once they're broke up enough, you add your heavy cream. With the heavy cream, I add enough just to start to mix it around. I don't want to add too much to make it loose, so you can add as you go. So after you add a nice amount of heavy cream, then you can add your milk. I don't use whole milk. I use almond milk. And then after I add the almond milk, I then season it, salt, pepper. But I use more garlic powder than anything just to give it that garlicky taste. You want to mix it up, make sure you get a good consistency. Yeah, you just go about it. And you pretty much how you want them to taste. However, with me, cheese go on everything, man. Cheese, cheddar jack cheese. You don't want to add too much. It depends on how much cheese you want in them. So I then transfer them to the pot with the cheese and butter. Add a little bit of milk and I let them simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes. Last but not least, asparagus. Quick, want to make sure they clean. I cut off a nice amount of them at the end. Then I add the butter to the pan. Let that butter melt. Once that butter melt, you throw the asparagus in the pan. After you throw the asparagus in the pan, I like to add salt, pepper. That's it. That's really much all I season my asparagus with. Salt and pepper. Nothing too much. You throw that food on a plate and why fucking lie. Asparagus nice and green. Fresh asparagus too. The mashed potatoes nice and creamy. The lamb chops, man, they just was falling off the bone. I honestly got to start eating the food on camera. Y'all know I'm greedy. I be trying to hurry up and put the phone down, but it's Chef Gordo. I'm checking out. Hope you enjoyed.